Greetings lords and ladies, and welcome to the Westeros vibe, where in times of strife and death, lemony lemon cakes make everything seem better. Before we start, I would like to remind you that links to every article or video covered this week can be found in the video description below. Also in the description you will find timestamps, so that you can choose which stories you will want to view. We start off the week with Game of Thrones, the trivia game is coming. Who are also behind the classic Song of Ice and Fire official game, will release a trivia game based exclusively on the show, which is much simpler and also has a strategy component to it. The aim of the game is to control key areas within the world, presumably by answering questions from the show. It will probably provide a lot of people with entertaining nights alongside their friends. Moving on to Jon Snow is dead right now. Game of Thrones star Natalie Dormer keeps fans guessing about the fate of Lord Commander in upcoming 6th series. In an interview for Channel 5, Anne Boleyn contributed her 2 cents to the Jon Snow is dead bandwagon, adding that he is, for now. We have talked about this subject before, so we are not going to plunge again into the known theory surrounding Jon. Instead, let us look at some of Dormer's comments. If you get stabbed that many times, you're dead. There are some basic medical rules that even apply in Westeros, so Jon Snow is dead. Right now. You can't predict Game of Thrones, you can never predict it, and obviously we have this new situation this year. It's completely unprecedented. George hasn't published the next book, so it really is new for everyone. Next up, if Game of Thrones characters were Disney characters. As with any popular show or movie with a large cast, somebody has to concoct a list about what Disney characters they resemble. Well, here we go. Arya as Mulan. Both fighters who try to blend in as males and eventually get found out. Sansa as Ariel. Both idealize a world they are not a part of, but both have different experiences. Daenerys and Rapunzel. Freedom from a person who dominated them led to great things. Cersei as Mother Gothel. Both love their children unconditionally, although Gothel has an ulterior motive for doing so. Myrcella as Sleeping Beauty. Both sent away to be kept safe, and both are blondes. Jaime as Kuzco. Cocky, privileged, and rich, both brought down a peg by recent events. In other great news, George R. Martin. I am not writing anything until I deliver Winds of Winter. There is a Q&A in which this is taken from, however the relevant bit is the following. Hello Mr. Martin, sorry for the off-topic question, but will you be writing an episode for Season 7 or Game of Thrones? I am not writing anything until I deliver Winds of Winter. Teleplays, screenplays, short stories, introductions, forewords, nothing. And I've dropped all my editing projects but wildcards. Things are starting to look up. A pre-season 7 release of the book is looking more plausible by the minute. Moving on to Game of Thrones actor Tom Vlashisha talks Jaqen Hagar. This comes from an interview which he did for the German site Tease.de, in which he said the following. The figures are all cleverly drawn and very human. That's what makes the show so exciting. As a viewer, you never know what's up with a character in truth. When asked about a true show fan, he said, "This is a very unique species. First of all, they know the course of all the books and everything else that has been published. But who is a fan in which is every few weeks carnival? There are conventions where the fans run around in absurd costumes, or meet in the woods or on a castle for RPG. I have sometimes met myself at conventions, but that is one of the simpler costumes, long hair, wig, rag, clothes, ready." Finally, about playing Jaqen, he said, "Personally, I think you may not be smarter than the writer as an actor. What is written can play it, no more and no less. The overall picture arises in the mind of the viewer. Also because of his inconsistency, Jaqen Hagar is a sexy figure. On the one hand, he is a ruthless killer, the other hand, also a popular figure. It's fun to play someone so ambivalent. The background of the character for me is not important at all, i.e. the hardcore fans who always develop the internet their own theories. Var Morgullis, you lovable German who plays a murderer, you. Next up, Isaac Hempstead Wright. Season 6 will make sense of long-term mysteries. The boy who lived through a harrowing journey up north has given an interview in which he made some rather interesting remarks. Firstly, about not being in Season 5 and coming back, he said, "It was a shame not being in Season 5, but it was the right time for me to take a year out. I hadn't done any acting in that whole year out, so it was quite a shock to the system to go back on a freezing cold film set. Once I was brought back into it, it was great fun." The second statement was a lot more interesting, opening up the theory talk for what's to come. You'll see things in Season 6 that have never quite made sense before, and now it will all start to tie up. Stories all start to come together to make sense. I know we say this every season, but the series sees everything get bigger and bigger and bigger. Careful for spoilers during this next short part. We know that there will be a Tower of Joy scene from various pieces of information which leaked or were just announced. This is probably one of the things that didn't make sense before, as this is a mysterious event which to this day raises many questions. Hopefully Season 6 will provide answers for some or not all of them. In other news, reports Neil Gaiman helping George R. R. Martin as Winds of Winter are hot air. It was expected. Read the article for more details. Moving on to Game of Thrones writer defends Sansa scene in heartfelt new commentary. This commentary can be found on the Season 5 DVD, and the gist of it is that he was expecting that when they had to put Sansa in Jane Poole's place, some form of the awful treatment that she suffered in the books had to be translated into the show. At the same time, the writer knew what kinds of reactions the rape would have provoked. It is a nice article, and I suggest you read it if you are interested in what he has to say. Moving on to the lands of YouTube, we have more videos to tackle this week. The official Game of Thrones channel has released a Season 6 teaser featuring the Hall of Faces, where some familiar characters appear. Radio Westeros has released an in-depth discussion of Jorah Mormont, his past, present, and future theories about him. Alt-Shift X has released a video discussing the possibility that Timett, son of Timett, is the true-born ruler of the Vale. Preston Jacobs has released the What You're Missing video for Season 3, Episode 3, Walk of Punishment. Emergency Awesome has released a video discussing the new teaser trailer, followed by a Q&A. Red Team Review has released a video about the top 5 events that will probably happen in Season 6 that he is looking forward to. Vassals of Kingsgrave have released another episode of their epic ReRead sequence, discussing more chapters from October to 98. That's the news for a week ending on February 21st. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please like, share, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned. Goodbye everyone.